Rain slid across the windshield in thin, nervous lines as Marcus Hale tightened his grip on the steering wheel. His son, 11-year-old Isaiah, sat quietly in the back seat with 2 paper bags of donated toys, gifts meant for the orphan children Marcus had promised to sponsor. The storm pressed against the car, but inside, Marcus felt something tighter, that familiar pressure in his chest whenever a police cruiser appeared behind him. Blue lights flashed. He exhaled. "They come." Officer Trent Mallory approached with the swagger of a man who believed the world bowed for him. Marcus rolled his window down only halfway. He'd learned to keep a controlled distance. Rain peppered the officer's uniform, but Mallory didn't blink. "License," he said sharply, as if speaking to an inconvenience, not a father. Marcus handed it over with steady fingers. Mallory scanned it, then leaned in. "Car like this. On your salary." The sentence sliced straight through the car. Quiet, venomous, practiced. Marcus felt Isaiah stiffen behind him. Before Marcus could speak, Mallory yanked the door open. Cold rain rushed in. A wrist twisted. Handcuffs snapped. Isaiah's cry echoed against the wet asphalt. "Dad!" Marcus fell to his knees, forced down by Mallory's weight. The toys spilled onto the pavement, bright colors against gray water. Mallory smirked as if nothing about this moment mattered. And then his radio crackled. Urgent, frantic, using a name Marcus recognized instantly. A name that changed everything. Marcus lifted his head, dripping rain and betrayal, as the world shifted on that single transmission. Rain hammered the roof of the patrol car like impatient fingers as Officer Trent Mallory shoved Marcus Hale through the station doors. "I said keep moving," Mallory snapped. "I am moving," Marcus replied, jaw tight. His wrists throbbed against the cuffs. Too tight, unnecessarily tight. Isaiah trailed behind, steps small and uneven. His eyes were red, but he didn't cry. Not anymore. A desk sergeant looked up. "What's the charge?" Mallory shrugged. "Suspicious behavior. Possible stolen vehicle." Marcus turned his head. "It's my car. Registered in my name." Mallory's lip twitched. "We'll see." Isaiah edged closer. "Dad, are they gonna keep you?" Marcus forced a calm he didn't feel. "No, son. This is a mistake. They just need to check things." The sergeant eyed Isaiah. "Is that your boy?" "Yes," Marcus said. Mallory cut in. "Kid was in the back seat during the stop. Looks scared. Might be something there." Marcus froze. "What does that mean?" Mallory spread his hands innocently. "Just noting observations." Isaiah whispered. "You scared me. Not Dad." Mallory ignored him. The cuffs finally came off. Marcus rubbed his wrists. The sergeant raised an eyebrow. "You don't look like a threat to me." Mallory stiffened. "Procedure is procedure." Marcus exhaled slowly. He knew the script. Any challenge, however polite, could be twisted. He held still while Mallory patted him down again, slower this time, as if searching for a reason to escalate. "Empty," Mallory muttered. "Shocking," Marcus said quietly. Mallory leaned close. "Watch your tone." Marcus didn't answer. His heartbeat thudded in his ears, thick as the storm outside. Isaiah tugged on his sleeve. "Dad, can we go home now?" "I hope so," Marcus said. A different officer approached with a tablet. "Mr. Hale, I'm verifying your registration now. Everything looks normal so far." Mallory stepped forward. "Run it again. And check for priors." "I don't have any priors," Marcus said. Mallory's smile was slow and poisonous. "Everybody's got something." Isaiah shook his head. "My dad doesn't." Marcus placed a hand on his son's shoulder. "Isaiah, it's okay." But it wasn't okay. The lobby buzzed around them. Phones ringing, boots squeaking on wet floors, the scent of burnt coffee drifting through the air. Marcus was painfully aware of how people looked at him. Curious, cautious, relieved it wasn't them. The officer with the tablet frowned. "Registration's clean. Insurance valid. No warrants." Mallory snatched the tablet. Run it again. The officer hesitated. Trent. Again, Mallory snapped. Marcus inhaled slowly. Officer Mallory, may I ask why you pulled me over? Mallory didn't even turn. Broken tail light. I checked before leaving the community center. It was working. Must have gone out. Isaiah whispered. It wasn't broken. Mallory pivoted sharply. You calling me a liar, kid? Marcus stepped between them instinctively. Don't speak to my son that way. Mallory's eyes narrowed with something deeper than irritation. You obstructing now? The sergeant finally intervened. Trent, that's enough. Mallory opened his mouth, then closed it. His jaw ticked. A young social worker walked in, shaking off her umbrella. She scanned the room, then approached carefully. I'm looking for the child from the traffic stop. Marcus stiffened. Why would a social worker be called? Mallory answered smoothly. Standard welfare check. Kid looked distressed. Isaiah clung to Marcus's arm. I was scared because you were hurting my dad. The social worker's eyes widened. Is that true? Mallory cut in. The child is confused. Isaiah's voice cracked, but he held steady. I'm not confused. The social worker knelt to Isaiah's height. Are you hurt? No. Did your father threaten you? Isaiah's eyes blazed. My dad doesn't hurt anybody. Marcus's throat tightened. He had taught Isaiah to be gentle, to think before reacting. But right now, his son was trembling with righteous fear. The sergeant cleared his throat. Trent, we've got nothing on this guy. Mallory folded his arms. He was evasive. I answered every question you asked, Marcus said. Mallory shrugged. Depends how you interpret his tone. Marcus stared at him. You could interpret anything as a threat if that's what you want to see. Mallory smirked. Some people give off a vibe. Marcus felt something inside him splinter, but he kept his voice controlled. I'm a community mentor. I work with the Police Widows Foundation. You've seen me at events. Mallory waved a dismissive hand. Yeah, I see you around. Doesn't mean anything. The officer with the tablet approached again. Everything checks out. He's clear. The sergeant nodded. Mr. Hale, you're free to go. Isaiah sagged with relief. Can we go home? Marcus almost said yes, before the social worker stepped forward again. Before you leave, she said gently, I need to complete the welfare check. Mallory leaned back satisfied. Marcus swallowed hard. Of course. But I'd like to be present. That's fine, she said. Isaiah squeezed his father's hand as they walked toward a private room. Mallory called after them, voice smooth as oil. Don't take too long. We might find something else. Marcus stopped mid-step. He didn't turn, didn't speak. But he felt the line being drawn, thin, sharp, dangerous. This wasn't a stop. This wasn't confusion. This was a hunt. And he realized, with a quiet dread that settled into his bones, that Mallory wasn't finished. Not even close. Marcus sat at the kitchen table hours later, the house dim except for the warm glow of one overhead light. Isaiah was in bed, finally asleep after crying himself quiet. The rain outside had slowed to a soft patter, but inside Marcus still felt the storm tightening around him. He opened his laptop and clicked into his volunteer files. Photos of the people he'd promised to protect, especially the 3 children he hoped to adopt. A soft memory rose, pulling him back 6 months earlier. It had been quiet in the community center that day, the kind of quiet that comes only after grief has exhausted every voice. Marcus entered the small activity room carrying paint supplies. 3 children sat at a long table, staring at blank sheets of paper. Morning, Marcus said gently. Thought we'd do something fun today. The eldest girl, Leah, lifted her gaze. She was 12, thin, guarded, her braids tied back neatly. We're not really in a fun mood. Marcus nodded. Then we'll paint whatever mood you're in. The younger brother, Jonah, frowned. That sounds dumb. It might be, Marcus said, smiling softly. But sometimes dumb things help. Jonah snorted despite himself. The youngest, 6-year-old Maya, slid a brush toward Marcus. Will you paint too? Only if you promise not to laugh at my masterpiece. The children didn't laugh, not then, but the tension eased. They painted thunderstorms, broken houses, lost parents. Marcus painted a tree with room for more branches than it had. Leah pointed at it. Why so many branches? Marcus answered quietly. Because families grow in unexpected ways. Leah looked down at her paper. Our family's gone. A heavy silence settled. Marcus sat beside her. Your dad was a brave man. He served this city. He helped people. You carry that with you. She stiffened. Some officers don't care about people like us. That's true, Marcus said. He didn't sugarcoat it. But some do. And your father was one of the best. Maya whispered. We miss him. I know. Marcus swallowed hard. I know you do. Jonah suddenly asked. Why do you even come here? Most people stay far away from us. Marcus met his eyes, steady and sure. Because someone needs to show you that you matter. Not because of what happened. Not because of pity. But because you're kids who deserve a future. Leah's voice wavered. A future with who? Nobody wants siblings. Especially not 3. Marcus leaned forward. That's not true. All the families said we were too complicated, she whispered. Too sad. Grief isn't a flaw, Marcus said. It's a sign that you loved deeply. The door opened quietly. A caseworker peered inside. Marcus. Quick question about Saturday's event. He stepped aside to speak with her, thinking he'd return to finish the conversation. But as he moved away, he heard Jonah murmur, I wish someone would pick us. And Leah replying, don't hope for things that won't happen. The caseworker finished quickly, and Marcus walked back toward the table, heart already making a choice he hadn't planned. He crouched beside them. Can I tell you something? 3 uncertain faces turned toward him. I've been thinking about adopting for a long time, Marcus said. I didn't know who or when. But if you're willing, I'd like to start the process. For all 3 of you. Maya's eyes widened. All 3? Yes, Jonah whispered. Are you serious? Marcus nodded. Very serious. Leah's chin trembled. Why us? Because you deserve a home, Marcus said. And because I have enough room in mine, and in my heart, for all of you. For the first time since he'd met them, all 3 children clung to him at once, crying into his shirt. It was raw. It was real. It was the moment everything changed. Back in the present, Marcus closed the laptop and pressed his palms against his eyes. The storm inside him felt heavier than the arrest itself. The adoption. The kids. The timing was cruel. His phone buzzed. A message from Leah's foster home coordinator. Heard about the incident today. Kids are worried. Are you able to visit tomorrow? Marcus typed back, yes, absolutely. I'll be there. Another message appeared. This one from Officer Rivera, a friend of the late officer who had been the children's father. Saw your name on today's arrest sheet. Are you okay? Want me to look into the report? Marcus hesitated. He didn't want trouble. He didn't want escalation. But Mallory had already escalated everything. He typed, please check it but be discreet. Rivera responded almost immediately. Trent Mallory filed the complaint. Is not a good one. Be careful, Marcus. Marcus set the phone down slowly. Be careful. How many times had he heard that phrase? How many times had he lived by it? The next morning he arrived at the foster home. The children rushed him before he even reached the lobby. Leah grabbed his coat. We heard they arrested you. Jonah stared at him, eyes full of fear and accusation. Is it true? Are they taking you away from us? No, Marcus said quickly. They made a mistake. I'm fixing it. Maya clung to his leg. Don't let them take you. Marcus knelt and hugged all 3. Listen. I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. Leah whispered. What about the adoption meeting? It'll happen, he promised. But his stomach twisted at the lie he wasn't sure was a lie. Jonah wiped his nose with his sleeve. Dad would have liked you. Marcus's breath caught. I hope so. Leah looked at him with terrified honesty. Please don't give up on us. He held her shoulders gently. Never. Behind them, a staff member watched with warm eyes. But in the corner, another staffer whispered into her phone. Yeah. Something happened with the adoption guy. Police stuff. Might complicate things. Marcus heard it. And for the first time since the arrest, he felt a crack of fear. Not for himself, but for the family he was trying to build. The police station smelled of stale coffee and cold metal when Marcus returned 2 days later. He wasn't under arrest this time. He wasn't even required to appear. But something inside him refused to let the lie sit unchallenged. Officer Rivera met him in the lobby, looking uneasy. You sure you want to be here? Rivera asked quietly. No, Marcus said. But I need to see the report. Rivera exhaled. Then follow me. And keep your voice low. Mallory's been in a mood since the body cam audit started. Marcus froze mid-step. Audit? Routine, Rivera said, though his tone hinted otherwise. But it might matter for you. They entered a small conference room. Rivera tapped a few buttons on the workstation, then turned the screen toward Marcus. The report blinked open. And Marcus felt his stomach drop. Mallory had written page after page of insinuations. Subject appeared agitated and verbally hostile. Child displayed signs of distress in father's presence. Possible risk indicators. Evasiveness, inconsistent statements. Marcus stared, jaw tightening. This is fiction. Rivera sighed. Trent writes like this all the time. The departments let it slide for years. He said I reached for something under the seat. Yeah, Rivera murmured. That one's bad. I reached for my wallet. He saw me take it out. I know, Rivera said. But he framed it as possible weapon. Marcus dragged a hand over his face. This could destroy the adoption. Rivera hesitated, then leaned in. Marcus. The report was forwarded to Child Services. What? Marcus jerked upright. You're telling me he sent this to the adoption board? Someone did. It's marked, external review requested. Marcus's voice dropped to a razor-sharp whisper. He's trying to break my family before it even forms. The door opened sharply. Officer Mallory stepped inside, smirking as if summoned by the tension itself. Well, look who's back, Mallory said. Didn't learn your lesson the first time. Marcus inhaled slowly. I came to review your report. Mallory shrugged. Be my guest. It's accurate. It's a lie. Mallory tilted his head with mock confusion. Funny, you seemed pretty agitated that night. And your kid? Terrified. He chuckled. Not a great look. Marcus stood straighter. My son was terrified because you dragged me out of my car. Interpretations differ. You falsified half that report. Mallory stepped closer, voice lowering. Prove it. Rivera moved between them. Trent cut it out. Mallory ignored him. Hale, men like you always think you can wiggle out by sounding polite. But paperwork matters. Procedure matters. Tone matters. Marcus clenched his fists. My tone. Mallory smirked. There it is. That attitude. He tapped a finger on his temple. Always comes out eventually. Rivera snapped. Trent, enough. Leave the room. Mallory held Marcus's gaze for a slow, dangerous beat. This isn't over. Then he walked out, boots echoing like a warning. When the door closed, Rivera muttered, I'm sorry. He's out of control. Marcus swallowed hard. What do I do now? Rivera hesitated, weighing each word. You file a counterstatement. You request body cam review. But Marcus, even if you clear your name, Child Services already flagged your adoption case. A cold wave crashed through Marcus. Flagged. Temporary suspension, Rivera admitted. The board will review everything. Might take weeks. Marcus stared at the table. Weeks. The kids had already lost too much time. Leah's fear, Jonah's anger, Maya's trembling voice. He couldn't let the system fail them again. Later that afternoon, Marcus walked into the child services office. A receptionist looked up with guarded politeness. Name: Marcus Hale. I need to speak to the adoption coordinator. The receptionist clicked through her screen. She's unavailable. Marcus breathed deeply. Then someone else. Anyone. A supervisor happened to pass by. She slowed, recognizing his name. Mr. Hale. I read the file. Her tone was gentle, bureaucratic, apologetic. We had to pause the process after receiving the police report. It's false, Marcus said. We understand there may be discrepancies, but until the investigation concludes, those kids don't have weeks to wait. I know, she said softly. But our guidelines shouldn't punish children for a bad officer's ego. Her expression flickered, sympathy then retreat. Submit a formal rebuttal. We'll attach it. Marcus exhaled shakily. Can I see them today? Not until the case is cleared. His heart dropped. But, the supervisor added, I'll request an exception. No promises. He nodded. Thank you. As he turned to leave, she offered a quiet, almost whispered line. For what it's worth. I believe you. Marcus froze. Belief wasn't enough. Not when Mallory's lies were already spreading like poison. That evening, Marcus sat on the porch steps, staring at nothing. Isaiah sat beside him, knees drawn to his chest. Dad, Isaiah asked softly, are they still mad at you? No, Marcus said. Some people just don't want to see the truth. Isaiah rested his head on his father's arm. But you didn't do anything. I know. So why does it feel like we're losing? Marcus looked at the darkening sky. 'Cause they were. But he couldn't say that. Instead he whispered, we're not losing. We're fighting. Isaiah nodded, though he didn't look convinced. The screen door creaked open. A neighbor stepped out, hesitant. Hey Marcus. I heard what happened. If you ever need someone to talk to. Marcus managed a tired smile. Thank you. The neighbor hesitated. Did you want me to write what I saw? From that night. I didn't see everything but. Marcus's breath caught. Yes, please. One statement wouldn't fix everything. But it was something, a glimmer in the dark. And right now, Marcus needed every glimmer he could get. The next morning, Marcus stood outside the supermarket where the incident had first unfolded. The sky was clear now, mockingly so, and cars rolled in and out like nothing in the world had shifted. But everything had shifted. He carried a clipboard, a stack of witness forms, and a thin hope that someone, anyone, would speak up. A young woman in a green store apron stepped outside for her break. She froze when she saw him. You were here that night, Marcus said gently. You recorded part of it. Her shoulders tensed. I deleted it. His heart sank. Why? I didn't want problems. She lowered her voice. Officer Mallory comes here a lot. I understand, Marcus said quietly. But my adoption case is on hold because of his report. I'm just trying to protect my family. She looked at him with soft guilt. I'm sorry. Would you at least give a short statement? Anything you remember? She shook her head quickly. I can't. I could get dragged into something. He nodded again, slow, heavy. Thank you for your time. As she slipped back inside, Marcus stood there, feeling the invisible lines people drew around their own safety. Lines he had never been allowed to draw. His next stop was the gas station next door. A middle-aged man wiped down a pump, humming to himself. Marcus approached, gentle but determined. Sir, you were here the night I was arrested. The man hesitated, then sighed. Yeah, I saw some of it. Would you be willing to write a statement? I don't know. He rubbed the back of his neck. These things get messy. I was pulled out of my car in front of my son. I just need someone to say what they saw. The man frowned, conflicted. Look, I'm not saying you're wrong. But Officer Mallory is connected. His family's been here generations. Marcus narrowed his eyes. And mine hasn't. The man winced. I didn't mean it like that. But it's true, Marcus said quietly. And that's why I need the truth from people like you. The man stared at him, pained, afraid, ashamed. Finally he said, barely above a whisper, I'm sorry. I can't. Marcus nodded again. It's all right. But it wasn't all right. It was crushing. He made one last stop at the far end of the plaza. An older man sitting on a bench, feeding crumbs to pigeons. Marcus approached cautiously. Sir, you were here the other night. Near the curb. The man looked up, his eyes cloudy but sharp. Yes, I remember. Marcus sat at the edge of the bench. No one wants to speak. They're scared. They are, the old man agreed. Fear keeps people still. Always has. Marcus exhaled shakily. I just need someone to say what they saw. Anything. Please. The old man studied him, then nodded slowly. I'll tell you what I saw. Marcus felt his chest tighten. Not with fear this time, but hope. I saw an officer angry before he even reached your car, the man said. Saw him yank your door open for no reason. Saw your boy cry. I saw you, trying not to break. Marcus swallowed. Will you write that down? Yes, the man said. Because I'm old enough that fear can't buy anything from me anymore. Marcus handed him the clipboard with trembling fingers. The old man's handwriting was shaky, but each letter carved truth into the page. When he signed his name at the bottom, Marcus felt something lift inside him for the first time since the arrest. Thank you, Marcus whispered. The old man patted his arm. Son, don't let them take your fight away. I won't. Good. He looked back at the pigeons. Men like that officer. They've had protection for far too long. Later that afternoon, Marcus walked into the police station lobby again. Not as a suspect, not as a victim, but as a man carrying evidence. Mallory stood near the front desk, laughing with another officer. His smile faded the moment he saw Marcus holding the clipboard. Well, well, Mallory said. Collecting fan mail. Marcus didn't rise to the bait. I have witness statements. Mallory snorted. Two people too scared to tell the truth. One statement, Marcus corrected. One man brave enough. Mallory's eyes narrowed. You think that'll help? One old guy who probably misremembered half of it. Marcus stepped closer, voice low and steady. I think the truth scares you more than it scares anyone else. Mallory leaned in, whispering. You don't know what you're starting. Marcus held his stare. I'm finishing what you started. Rivera stepped between them again. Enough. Both of you. Marcus handed the forms to the front desk officer. Attach these to my complaint file. Mallory watched, jaw tightening, a dangerous glint in his eyes. Rivera whispered to Marcus. He's going to double down. I know, Marcus said, leaving the station. But so will I. As the doors closed behind him, he felt the air shift. Not in his favor, not yet, but toward a fight he was finally ready to wage. The group home sat at the end of a quiet residential street. An old brick building with a peeling white porch and a yard full of tricycles, chalk drawings, and forgotten soccer balls. Normally the place buzzed with laughter or arguments or the unmistakable chaos of childhood. But when Marcus stepped through the door, the silence hit him hard. A staff member looked up from the front desk. Mr. Hale, I'll tell the kids you're here. Before she could even move, 3 figures rushed down the hallway. Marcus! Maya cried, launching into his arms. Jonah followed close behind, eyes stormy and anxious. Did they drop the charges? Are you cleared? Leah didn't run. She walked stiffly, too controlled for her age. We heard things, she said slowly. Staff talking. Adults whispering. Marcus knelt, pulling all three into an embrace. Listen to me. Okay. The case is being reviewed. That means it's bad, Jonah muttered. No, Marcus said gently. It means the truth takes time. Leah crossed her arms tightly. We don't have time. He looked up at her, into those guarded, tired eyes no child should have. I know. The coordinator, Ms. Turner, finally approached. I'll give you all a room. She led them to the small visiting area. A couch, a rug, and a low table cluttered with worn board games. The kids sat across from Marcus, closer to him than to the furniture. Leah leaned forward. Just tell us straight. Are we still being adopted? Marcus inhaled slowly. Yes. I'm fighting for it. Maya's voice trembled. But do they think you're bad now? Because the officer said so. No, Marcus said. Some people think that, but they're wrong. And I'm proving it. Jonah clenched his fists. Why would he lie? You didn't do anything. Marcus hesitated. Some people abuse their power because they think no one will challenge them. Leah scoffed softly. Yeah, we know that story. The way she said it, too calm, too experienced, made Marcus's chest ache. He reached out. You won't go through that again. I promise. Leah's eyes filled, but she blinked back the emotion. Promises break. Not this one, he said firmly. A tense, thick silence settled before Jonah finally blurted. Tell us everything. Don't hide it. Marcus sighed. The officer wrote a report. He lied about what happened. Because of that, the adoption board paused our case. Maya whimpered and curled into Marcus's side. Leah swallowed. So it is bad. It's temporary. And I'm getting witness statements. I got one yesterday. One. Jonah said flatly. That's not enough. He was brave, Marcus replied. More than most. Leah's voice softened unexpectedly. People get scared. I know, Marcus said. Because when they speak up, she continued, bad things happen. You get noticed. And then someone makes you pay for it. Jonah nodded. That's what happened to Dad. He spoke up about something. Then he died a month later. Marcus's heart froze. A quiet truth he had never pushed them to explain suddenly cut through the room like a blade. He leaned forward. What did he speak up about? Leah stared at her hands. He reported another officer for hurting a kid during a stop. Used too much force. Dad filed a complaint. Her voice broke. They said he was lying. Said he was causing trouble. Next month his patrol car malfunctioned. And then, she didn't finish. She didn't need to. Jonah's jaw clenched so tightly the muscles trembled. And now they're doing the same thing to you. No, Marcus said, voice rough. No. This is different. Is it? Leah whispered. Marcus swallowed. I am not your father. And Mallory is not that officer. Leah's eyes hardened. But he could be. Maya whispered into Marcus's shirt. Are they gonna take you away too? He hugged her tighter. Nobody's taking me away. Miss Turner poked her head in. Everything okay in here? Marcus nodded. We're all right. She withdrew quietly. Marcus took a slow breath, steadying himself. Listen to me. I'm not giving up. Not today, not tomorrow, not ever. I want you. All three of you. Jonah sniffed. We want you too. Leah finally broke. Just a little. Her chin trembled. Promise you'll come back. I promise. She leaned forward and wrapped her arms around him. Jonah and Maya pressed in close. A messy, desperate hug. Four hearts trying to believe in a future that felt fragile. Later, as the kids went back to eat dinner with the others, Marcus spoke quietly with Ms. Turner. She sighed. They haven't stopped asking about you since the news spread. Marcus nodded. Who told them? She hesitated. Daft talk. Kids overhear more than we think. He rubbed his forehead. I need them to know I'm still here for them. You are, she said. But the board can be cautious. I understand cautious, Marcus replied. But this is punishing them. Ms. Turner lowered her voice. Not everyone on the board sees it that way. Some are worried about appearances. Marcus raised an eyebrow. Meaning? She hesitated. Meaning a case involving an officer's misconduct, especially one involving a man adopting children of another officer, makes some people nervous. Marcus felt heat climb his spine. So the board is scared of Mallory. She didn't answer, which told him everything. As he prepared to leave, the kids ran to the door again. Maya pressed a small paper drawing into his hand. A family with 4 figures holding hands. "Don't lose it," she whispered. Marcus hugged her one last time. "I won't." But as he walked out into the chill evening air, the truth clung to him. Mallory wasn't just trying to harm him. He was trying to erase the future Marcus was building. A future born from grief, hope, and the courage of children who had already lost everything. And Marcus knew, as surely as he knew how to breathe, that he would fight until his last breath to protect that future. Marcus sat at his dining table late into the night, papers spread everywhere. Witness statements, adoption documents, scanned copies of Mallory's false report. Every page felt like a fist in his chest. Isaiah hovered in the doorway. "Dad?" the boy asked softly. "Are you losing?" Marcus looked up. "No, I'm working. That's all." Isaiah stepped closer. "You always say working means fixing things." "It does. But this one feels big." Marcus didn't answer because Isaiah was right. Before he could respond, his phone buzzed. Unknown number. He answered cautiously. "Mr. Hale?" a voice asked. "This is Tess Morgan from the Tri-County Ledger. I'm a reporter." Marcus stiffened. "I'm not doing interviews." "You don't have to. Someone sent me a tip anonymously. They said I should ask you about an arrest that doesn't look right." Marcus closed his eyes. "I don't know who sent that." "I'm guessing someone who wants the truth out," she replied gently. "I'd like to meet. Just to talk." Isaiah whispered. "Who is it?" "A reporter," Marcus murmured. Isaiah tensed. "Is that bad?" "No," Marcus said. "Not necessarily." Into the phone he answered. "Fine. Tomorrow morning. Neutral place. The community center." "I'll be there," she said. Marcus hung up. Isaiah looked terrified. What if she twists stuff? Like the officer did. Marcus pulled him close. "We tell the truth. And we let the truth stand." The next morning, the community center parking lot was quiet, dew still clinging to benches. Tess Morgan stepped out of her car, mid-30s, glasses, notepad in hand. She didn't move like someone hungry for scandal, more like someone searching for missing pieces. "Mr. Hale," she said. "Yes. Before I ask anything, I want to tell you something. I reviewed your public records. Clean. The community speaks highly of you. I'm not here to attack you." Marcus nodded. She clicked a recorder. "Tell me what happened." Marcus inhaled, recounting the night. Mallory's tone, the unnecessary force, the terror in Isaiah's voice. She scribbled, nodding. "And this report he filed." She lifted a printed copy. "The language is concerning." "That's a gentle way to put it," Marcus said. She flipped a page. He wrote, "Subject displayed escalating aggression when questioned." "Did you?" "No." "Did you raise your voice?" "No." "Did you resist?" "No." Tess lowered the paper. "Mr. Hale, I've covered policing for a decade. This is the kind of language used when officers know they stepped over a line." Marcus swallowed. "He's trying to kill my adoption case." Tess nodded slowly. "I've heard as much." "What did the tip say?" Marcus asked. She hesitated. "That there might be body cam audio." Marcus froze. "Audio?" "Yes. Someone said Mallory didn't mute it quickly enough." Marcus felt heat prickle the back of his neck. "Did you hear it yet?" "No," she said. "But they said it might surface." Isaiah tugged Marcus's sleeve. "Dad, that's good, right?" "It could be," Marcus said slowly. "Or it could make things worse." Tess tucked her notepad away. If that audio comes out, I'll make sure it's reported fairly. No spin. Marcus looked her in the eye. Be careful. She gave a tight smile. Always. Hours later, the spark. Marcus was picking Isaiah up from school when his phone buzzed non-stop. Messages, emails, links. Rivera called immediately. Marcus, have you seen the clip? What clip? The body cam leak. It's spreading. Marcus's pulse spiked. Send it. A notification pinged. Marcus opened the video. Static. Muffled footsteps. Rain hitting a car roof. And then Mallory's voice. Car like this. On your salary. Clear. Dark. Unmistakable. Isaiah gasped. Dad, that's him. Marcus stared at the tiny screen, cold fury and relief mixing painfully. The audio didn't show everything, but it proved bias. Proved intent. Rivera spoke quickly. The department is scrambling. Mallory's saying the clip is edited. Of course he is. He wants a full inquiry halted. But it's too late. Media's already reporting. Marcus closed his eyes. What about the adoption board? Rivera hesitated. I forwarded it to someone I trust there. Unofficially. Thank you, Marcus whispered. You didn't deserve any of this, Rivera said. Stay strong. Marcus hung up, heart pounding. Later that evening, at the police station, Marcus arrived to submit the old man's statement formally. As he stepped inside, officers glanced his way. Some sympathetic, some unreadable, a few stiff with tension. Mallory stood in the hallway, red-faced and furious, arguing with a supervisor. This is illegal, Mallory spat. That audio is manipulated. You forgot to mute it, the supervisor replied. I turned it off. Not fast enough. Mallory's gaze snapped toward Marcus like a knife. You think you won now? Marcus stared back, voice steady. I didn't leak anything. Liar. I don't need to lie, Marcus replied. You said everything yourself. Mallory stepped forward, fists clenched. Rivera appeared instantly, blocking him. Trent, Rivera said firmly. Walk away. Mallory pointed a trembling finger at Marcus. You won't adopt those kids. I'll make sure. Officer Mallory, the supervisor barked. My office. Now. Mallory's face twisted with rage, but he backed away, disappearing into the office like a cornered animal. Rivera turned to Marcus. This is getting dangerous. I know, Marcus said. But I can't stop. Rivera nodded once. Then neither will I. A shift. Later that night, Marcus sat on his couch with Isaiah, exhaustion heavy in both their bones. The news replayed the leaked audio again and again. Tessa's voice narrated. The tone captured here raises serious questions about Officer Mallory's conduct during the arrest of community volunteer Marcus Hale. Isaiah whispered. Dad, people are on your side now. Marcus shook his head. Not everyone. But enough, Isaiah insisted. Marcus rested a hand on his son's shoulder. We'll see. His phone buzzed. A message from Ms. Turner at the group home. The kids saw the news. They're hopeful. They want to see you. Call me. Marcus felt something warm flicker. Not victory. Not relief. But momentum. Truth pushing through cracks in the system. The fight wasn't over. But for the first time, Marcus could see a path forward. Path Mallory could no longer completely block. The hearing room at Child Services looked like a courtroom stripped of its dignity. Fluorescent lights humming overhead, walls painted an uninspiring beige, and a rectangular table positioned between Marcus and the adoption review board like a barrier no one acknowledged directly. Marcus straightened his tie with trembling fingers. Isaiah sat beside him, quiet but determined. On the other side of the room, Leah, Jonah, and Maya waited with their foster coordinator, Ms. Turner. They looked small, anxious, and heartbreakingly hopeful. The board chair, a middle-aged woman with silver hair and thin glasses, cleared her throat. We're here to review the temporary suspension of Mr. Marcus Hale's adoption petition. Her tone was careful, neutral. We will hear statements from all parties. Marcus swallowed. This was it. Months of love, weeks of fear, and days of injustice, all funneling into this single hour. The officer's entrance. The door opened. Officer Trent Mallory entered in full uniform, jaw clenched, eyes burning with restrained fury. His presence shifted the air, cold, tense, sharp. A board member whispered something uncertain. Another adjusted her papers nervously. Mallory sat down across from Marcus, smirking as if already victorious. Marcus held his gaze. Not today. The chairwoman speaks. Officer Mallory, the chairwoman said, you submitted a report expressing concerns about Mr. Hale's behavior during a recent traffic stop. Today, we will examine the accuracy and relevance of that report. Mallory nodded. Yes, ma'am. My duty is to protect children. And based on his conduct. She asked for facts. Marcus cut in quietly. Mallory shot him a glare. The fact is, he escalated. Let's review on record. A board member interrupted. Mr. Hale, your statement. Marcus stood, steadying himself with a breath. I cooperated fully. Officer Mallory pulled me out of my car without cause, frightened my son, and then filed a report full of lies. Objection, Mallory barked. This is not a courtroom, the chairwoman snapped. Let him speak. Mallory slumped back, simmering. Marcus continued. My son screamed because he thought I was being hurt. He was ignored. Then Officer Mallory exaggerated that fear to imply I was unsafe for children. A board member leaned forward. Why would he do that? Marcus met Mallory's eyes. You'd have to ask him. Mallory smirked. Maybe I saw something you didn't. Isaiah suddenly stood. You scared me, he said, voice shaking but loud. You scared me, not my dad. The room went silent. The witnesses. The chairwoman nodded. Thank you, Isaiah. Let's proceed with external testimonies. Ms. Turner guided the children forward. Leah took a deep breath, her voice steady but raw. Mr. Hale has been there for us. He listens. He keeps promises. He's the only adult who hasn't walked away. Jonah stepped up next. He didn't do anything wrong. The officer scared all of us. And our dad, he was a police officer. Good one. And Mr. Hale is like him. Maya clutched her crayon drawing. We want him. Marcus blinked hard, holding himself together. Then came the elderly witness, Mr. Walters, leaning on a cane but standing tall in spirit. I saw the whole mess. That officer came in hot, already angry. That man, he pointed to Marcus, was calm, careful, scared for his boy. That report. Walters shook his head. It's fiction. The board scribbled notes, eyes narrowing. Mallory shifted uncomfortably. The reporter's evidence. Finally, Tess Morgan entered, accompanied by a legal representative from the newspaper. She placed a small speaker on the table. This is the verified body cam audio clip, she said. Recently leaked. Mallory stiffened. That audio was manipulated. It was authenticated by our forensics, Tess said firmly. We would not present it otherwise. The chairwoman nodded. Play it. The room filled with the unmistakable sound of rain. Then Mallory's voice. Car like this. On your salary. Clear. Unfiltered. Dripping with bias. A board member recoiled. Another closed her eyes. The air felt electric, every molecule charged with silent judgment. Mallory turned red. That's taken out of context. Tess replied calmly. The context is that you said it. Marcus didn't smile, didn't flinch. He simply watched the truth do what it always tried to do, rise. The confrontation. The board chair tapped her pen. Officer Mallory, would you care to explain the tone in that audio? Mallory found no words for several seconds. He acted suspiciously. I asked a reasonable question. That was not a reasonable question, the chairwoman said. It was discriminatory. That's your interpretation. It's the interpretation of the law, she replied. A younger board member leaned forward. Officer, your report claims he reached for a weapon. Yet the audio and witness accounts show no such escalation except on your part. Mallory's jaw flexed. I followed procedure. The chairwoman's voice turned cold. Your procedure seems selective. Mallory lunged forward slightly. Are you accusing me of something? We are questioning the credibility of your entire report, she answered. Mallory's face twisted. This is absurd. He's manipulating you. He wants those kids for some savior complex, and you're falling for it. Marcus rose slowly, every muscle controlled. Say their names, Officer Mallory. Mallory blinked. What? The kids, Marcus said quietly. Say their names. Mallory faltered. Why does that matter? Because you don't even know who you're trying to hurt. Leah's voice cracked. We're not things. We're not leverage. The room went still. Mallory realized too late he had lost control of the narrative. The collapse. The chairwoman folded her hands. Officer Mallory, please step outside while we deliberate. Mallory stared at her. What? No. It's not optional. Mallory rose violently. Rivera, who had arrived quietly at the back, stepped in immediately. Time to go, Trent. Mallory shot Marcus a hateful look. You think this ends well. You think you win. Marcus didn't respond. Silence was stronger. Rivera escorted Mallory out as he muttered threats under his breath. The deliberation. The board whispered among themselves for a long, agonizing 10 minutes. The children huddled around Marcus. Isaiah squeezed his hand so tightly it hurt. Finally, the board returned. The chairwoman stood. The board acknowledges the discrepancies in Officer Mallory's report, the validity of the witness testimonies, and the concerning content of the audio recording. Marcus held his breath. We will issue a formal inquiry into Officer Mallory's conduct. Mallory, outside the glass door, froze in shock. Furthermore, the chairwoman continued, we find no credible reason to suspend Mr. Hale's adoption petition. Maya gasped. Jonah grabbed Marcus's arm. Leah pressed her fist to her mouth, tears forming for the first time in front of strangers. The chairwoman smiled gently. Mr. Hale, congratulations. Your adoption is approved. The room erupted, not in noise, but in emotion so pure it ached. Sobs, relief, clinging hands whispered thank yous. Isaiah hugged Marcus. I told you we wouldn't lose. Marcus finally allowed himself a shaking exhale. They hadn't just won. They had survived. The day the children moved into Marcus's home felt unreal, like the world had cracked open and, for once, something good had slipped through. The house was small, the paint slightly faded, and the porch steps still creaked in protest every time someone climbed them. But to the 4 children standing at the gate, Isaiah, Leah, Jonah, and Maya, it looked like the entrance to a new universe. Maya clutched her stuffed bear. Is this really ours now? Marcus knelt. Yes, all of it. Jonah crossed his arms, trying to hide his tremble. Even our rooms. Especially your rooms. Leah scanned the yard, her expression caught between hope and disbelief. We've never had a yard. Isaiah nudged her gently. We can play catch back here. It's big. Leah's eyes softened. Yeah, it is. Marcus held open the front door. Come on in. They stepped inside, each entering differently. Maya skipping, Jonah marching, Leah gliding cautiously, and Isaiah stepping aside to make space for them. Marcus watched them explore, his heart expanding in ways he didn't fully understand. The living room explosion. Maya stopped in the middle of the living room. Dad, she said. Marcus's breath caught. She'd said it without hesitation, without fear. Yes. Can we sit on the couch? Marcus laughed. A full, unguarded laugh he hadn't felt in months. Of course you can sit on the couch. It's yours. Jonah tested the cushions like he expected them to vanish. Is this real leather? No, Marcus said, amused. It's durable though. Leah hovered at the bookshelf. "These all yours?" she asked. "Now they're ours," Isaiah added. "He reads boring grown-up books. But the kids' shelf is fun." Leah smiled, really smiled, small but pure. The kitchen moment. Marcus walked toward the kitchen. "You four hungry?" "Yes," all of them answered at once. He grinned. "All right, I stocked up. Tell me what you want." Jonah peered over the counter. "You bought cereal with marshmallows?" "Isaiah made me," Marcus said. Isaiah argued. "They need fun food." "We need normal food," Leah countered. "Fun food is normal food," Isaiah insisted. Marcus shook his head. "This is what I get for raising you." Leah opened the fridge. Her breath trembled. "There's so much food." Marcus leaned gently against the island. "There will always be food." Overwhelmed, Leah shut the door quickly and turned away before anyone saw her eyes water. She failed. Amber tears slipped out anyway. Marcus approached quietly. "Leah." She wiped at her eyes. "Sorry. It's stupid." "It's not stupid," he said. "Not at all. It's just," she exhaled shakily. "It's nice." Jonah's confession. While Leah helped Maya pick a cereal bowl, Jonah tugged Marcus aside. "Dad." It still hit Marcus like a blow every time one of them said it. "Yes, Jonah. What if the officer, tries something again? What if he comes here?" Marcus crouched to eye level. "He can't hurt us." "You don't know that." "Yes," Marcus said firmly. "I do." "But he hates you," Jonah whispered. "Dad died because an officer hated him. What if?" Marcus cut him off gently. "Jonah, you're safe. I know trust takes time. But this house is yours. And I will protect every one of you." Jonah looked down at his shoes. "Can you promise you won't disappear?" Marcus placed a firm hand on his shoulder. "I promise." Jonah nodded, but the fear lingering in his eyes told Marcus this wound was deep. Not just from Mallory, not just from grief, but from a system that had failed him long before they met. Sia's worry. Later, as Maya and Jonah battled over who got the blue bowl, Isaiah pulled Marcus aside. "Dad." "Yes, Isaiah. You're acting happy, but I know how you get when you're tired. You're hiding something." Marcus hesitated. Isaiah stepped deeper into the hallway. "It's Mallory, right? He's still coming for you." Marcus rubbed his temples. "He's under investigation. He'll face consequences. Will he lose his job? Maybe. Is that justice?" Isaiah asked quietly. Marcus paused. "Not full justice. But it's accountability." Isaiah nodded slowly. "I can live with that." Marcus smiled faintly. "Me too." News at the door. A knock sounded. Marcus tensed. Immediately, Leah stiffened on the couch. Jonah grabbed Maya's hand. Isaiah whispered, "Dad." Marcus took a slow breath and opened the door. Officer Rivera stood on the porch in plain clothes. "Bad time?" Rivera asked. Marcus shook his head. "Never." Rivera stepped inside. "I came to tell you, Mallory's been suspended." Internal Affairs opened a full investigation. "Body cam footage won't save him," Leah whispered. "So he's gone?" "Not yet," Rivera said gently. "But he can't touch any of you. Not anymore." Jonah exhaled with relief he had been holding for days. Maya asked in a tiny voice, "Is he going to jail?" Rivera paused. "He'll face consequences. Maybe legal ones." Maya hugged her bear tighter. "Good." Marcus looked at Rivera. "Thank you." Rivera nodded. "You deserve peace, Hale. Every bit of it." Quiet dinner. That evening, the house hummed with an unfamiliar warmth. The kids ate spaghetti, Jonah slurping loudly, Maya wearing half of hers on her cheeks, Leah trying to teach them table manners, and Isaiah narrating the rules like a lawyer. Marcus sat at the head of the table, watching them talk over each other. Bluff, bicker, think, resist. For the first time the house didn't echo. Lived. Leah nudged Jonah. Pass the bread. Jonah shoved the basket toward her. Can we have ice cream too? Maya squealed. Ice cream. Marcus laughed. Let's slow down. One victory at a time. Isaiah raised his fork. This is a victory, right? Marcus nodded. The biggest one I've ever had. The final scene, a father for 4. After dinner, Maya grew sleepy. Marcus lifted her into his arms. Bedtime. She nodded against his shoulder. Will you tuck us in? All of you, Marcus said. Upstairs, he placed her gently in her bed, one of 3 freshly made in the newly arranged sibling room. He tucked Jonah in next, then Leah, who pretended she didn't like it but didn't pull away when he fixed her blanket. Isaiah lingered in the hallway, watching. You're good at this, Isaiah said softly. I'm learning, Marcus replied. You're not scared anymore. Marcus looked at the 3 new lives sleeping in his home, the family built from grief, courage, and survival. I'm still scared, he said honestly. But I'm not alone. Isaiah leaned into his side. None of us are. Marcus kissed the top of his head. Good night, son. Good night, Dad. Marcus stepped into the doorway of the room where the siblings slept. Moonlight spilled across their faces. He whispered, so quietly the words were almost breath. You're home. The house settled around him. Warm. Full. Not perfect. But theirs. And for the first time in a long, brutal stretch of months, Marcus allowed himself to believe in tomorrow.